if the AP was bluffing when they said to Kate and William and Kensington Palace that they think the photo was doctored? In other words, maybe they were tipped off that it was doctored. They weren't really sure that it was doctored, but then they told them that it was doctored to see what they say, and then they confessed. Do you think that's possible? Hmm. The other question I have is, what if the apology was forged? What if the apology was forged? I mean, and I'm not saying that any particular person forged the apology. I'm really asking if it's possible that someone could have forged the apology. Yes, and that includes William, right? That includes William. I'm not saying he did forge it. I'm not saying that he is the culprit, but I'm saying that I believe it's very possible that there is a forger and a culprit who possibly could have forged this apology and put the first letter of Catherine's name, C, without really signing, so that they can sort of have plausible deniability that they didn't really forge this because it's not even her signature. The C is not her signature. Is that her signature? By the way, has anyone ever seen Catherine's signature? That's a question. I never really asked that. Let's see if we can find that on the internet. So we have here Town and Country, Princess of Wales, Catherine. Harry, the Duchess of Sussex. So beautiful. Even her handwriting is beautiful. Amazing. Um, are these signatures? Like, whatever happened to their last name? So none of them use a last name. Hmm. None of them use a last name. She just got so much more beautiful as queen, doesn't she? She was never like that in the 1990s, I tell you that much. Um, wow, that's a signature. William, Princess of Wales. Okay, so this is Catherine's signature, guys. Now, from a legal standpoint, you can't accuse anybody of forging her signature because they didn't. They just put a C. That could be anybody. So she has plausible deniability. Everybody has plausible deniability to say, well, I didn't write it. I didn't sign it. I didn't forge her signature. This is not a forgery. This was signed by C. Who is C? Right? Who is C? Her name is Kate with a K, the Princess of Wales, or her signature here, Catherine. Who the hell is C? Have you ever asked yourself that question? So, yeah, so I think that no matter how stupid everyone says that they are in Kensington Palace at the moment, whoever is acting and whoever is advising the actors to do all the crazy things that have been going on in the last several months, I don't think they're completely stupid, right? I think that they definitely took into consideration that if they really signed Catherine's name, then it would be a forgery. But they really didn't. They signed with a C. So who's to say that was really Catherine? So yeah, as I was saying, that the fact that the apology was signed C and not Catherine, all with her actual signature, I think is important. To be a forgery, a person is guilty of forgery if he makes a false instrument with the intention that he or another shall use it to induce somebody to accept it as genuine, and by reason of so accepting it, to do or not to do some act to his own or any other person's prejudice. The way that this would be forgery if it turns out that this were not Catherine who issued that statement and signed with a C, it would be forgery if, because a false instrument, that topology note issued to the international community is an instrument. And if it's false, then it's a false instrument. And the person who issued it obviously had the intention that everyone who saw the note would be induced to accept it as genuine, that this is Catherine's words, which is really the basis upon which the AP declined to keep that picture in their library, because you're asking the AP to accept it as genuine, right? And they declined to do so. They did not say it was a forgery, but they said, well, it's just a manipulated image. And by reason of so accepting, so if the international community accepts that apology as real, coming from Catherine, to do or not to do some act, then if the international community that turns around and does not demand that an investigation is done to see what's really going on with Catherine, because they accept that false instrument as true, that false apology is really coming from Catherine, um, then it is to Catherine's detriment. I would think that if that note was not signed by Catherine, it would rise to the level of a forgery under British law.